Debuting in 1966, Doctor Doom's first appearance was in Fantastic Four issue number 5 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. In his almost 60 years of being an absolute menace, Doctor Doom has accomplished a lot to say the least. So exactly who is the egotistical and maniacal Doctor Doom? Also, shout out to this typo on Doctor Doom's official bio. Anyways, let's begin. Victor Von Doom was born in the fictional European country of Latveria to poor gypsies. His mother, Cynthia Von Doom, would play a very important role in his life by introducing young Victor to the concept of magic and sorcery. Now, Victor was a very smart child. He even claims to remember being in the womb, and he was able to speak from a very young age, so the concept of magic would only fascinate him, and his fascination would end up growing once his mother died. Because of his mother's spells, as a cost of it, once she died, she was cast into hell, and saving his mother's soul from hell would actually become one of Doom's #1 driving motives. And many years later, after his father died protecting young Victor while fleeing from Latverian soldiers, Victor would end up taking over as leader of the Gypsies. He would begin combining magic and science to make weapons and defenses to protect everyone from Latverian soldiers. Word of his genius would eventually spread to the US, where they would provide him with free education and a personal lab, under the condition he works for the US military building machines. Victor was good at this. He was really good at this, and because of that, the military would grant Victor anything he wanted for his personal lab. It was there working for the military and at his university where he would meet his arch nemesis Reed Richards. Reed would constantly try to help with Victor, but Victor thought of himself as having a superior intellect and did not trust anyone to help with his work, and would constantly refuse Reed's offers. He was working on a machine to contact his deceased mother, and one day he walked into his dorm to find Reed Richards tampering with his notes. Victor would become outraged and kick Reed out. Later, when he used the machine, it exploded, permanently scarring his face and getting him expelled. He would blame Reed Richards for tampering with his notes and causing the explosion. He would then move back to Europe. This was a very sad time in Victor's life because he had lost everything: his education, his looks, and his lab. During this time, the Russians would try to recruit him to work for them, but he refused. The Russians would then convince Victor's childhood best friend and love interest to meet with him. And once Victor had a promise of a future and happiness, the Russians used it to their advantage to try and extort him by threatening his girlfriend at gunpoint. This would also not work, but would end up being saved by some homeless guy that slept outside his front door. The homeless guy would get badly injured, but he would defeat the Russians. With his dying breaths, the man told Victor he was a monk from a temple far off in the mountains, and that Victor was the prophesied master of all those monks. He said that the monks at the temple could teach Victor powerful magic, and to seek them out. Victor would abandon his current life in search of these monks, and would quickly surpass them in magical abilities. With help from the monks, he would build highly advanced machines using magic and science. Victor would begin hearing rumors from the outside world about Dr. Reed Richards, and it made him jealous because he was never able to complete school and get his doctorate, and that is the canonical reason why he calls himself Dr. Doom, because he thought himself as a superior person to Reed Richards, and therefore smarter. He would also hear about his home country Latveria at that time, and the horrible things the current king was doing. Doom wanting to prove himself a superior man would forge his iconic armor at the temple, and then travel to Latveria, where he waged a civil war and won. Yes, the villain rules an entire country now. Is he a good ruler? I'll let the comments debate that one. And also, fun trivia fact, Dr. Doom's cape is canonically the old king's cape, so that's pretty cool. He would then later travel to hell multiple times to attempt to defeat a demon that was keeping his mother's soul trapped in hell. He would eventually beat the demon and free his mother's soul, but because of this, he would end up running in with the Fantastic Four a lot, sparking their legendary rivalry. 616 Doctor Doom, the one all the way back from 1966, the main Doctor Doom, would also later become literal God Emperor Doom and save the collapsing Marvel Universe by reshaping it into a much smaller world called Battleworld, which is very important in the Marvel comics from what I understand. And after the multiverse was restored from being Battleworld and it was restored back to normal, and after him being a literal god of the multiverse, Doctor Doom would grow bored. There was nothing left for him to strive for. He had proven himself a superior person. During this arc, he would actually begin reflecting on his past and seeing the error of his ways. At this point, 616 Tony Stark had died and the world lacked an Iron Man, so Victor would retire the name Doctor Doom and become the next Iron Man. But was he a good hero? Actually, yes. He was actually really good because he knew all the villains' secrets from all their team-ups. And you actually saw Victor really start to try and make up for the horrible things he did in his past. It's a good redemption arc for him. I haven't finished the comic quite yet, but as far as I know, Doctor Doom is still canonically running around as a good guy in the Marvel Universe. If you've enjoyed this video about Doctor Doom, I recommend a couple of comics. I recommend the Books of Doom, which goes over a lot of what I went over. It goes over his origin story in much more detail. It's very good. I enjoy that comic a lot. And I would also recommend Infamous Iron Man, which is where Doctor Doom becomes the next Iron Man. I recommend that one a lot. It is really fun to read. And yeah, I'll be covering Moon Knight in the next video, and if there was anything I didn't cover that was interesting, share it in the comments. I'm sure everyone would love to read cool lore facts. I really would. I'm still new to the comic side of Marvel, so I gotta catch up on lore. If you have a character you would like me to cover, let me know. I know there's a lot of really weird ones and interesting ones. Until next time, Cool Frog, see you later.